Hey everyone, Heavy here. Gamestop holds the line, causing millions in losses for options traders, and Bitcoin breaks out and forms a new range. Today I will be talking about stock market as well as cryptocurrency current events and our ongoing coverage of the GameStop frenzy. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. Unfortunately today we can't go in the pool because he was cleaned last night and is completely saturated with harsh pool cleaning chemicals. So instead we'll be doing an ice bath in the bathtub. We have our tub of ice here. Number 2. As I stated previously, the pool is full of chemicals, so I don't want to swim in it this morning. So we're doing our ice bath. Not quite as good as you can see, but Bitcoin Bob says it's about 50 degrees. So we're getting about the same temperature. Those are fail. Alright, well I'm just going to go ahead and finish up with a cold shower here. First thing we'll take a look at will be the Bitcoin candlestick chart. I left the lines up on the screen just to show you the pattern that we've been dealing with over the last several weeks of setting lower highs consistently. Fortunately, we've broken that pattern as we shot up to 38,600 yesterday and then subsequently sold off into the 33,000 area. But we're now comfortably sitting in the 34,000s, a little bit of consolidation and sideways movement here. So that's a good thing. If we move over to the Ethereum chart, we can see that the case was actually quite the opposite now, setting higher lows, moving on up the ladder. This is the daily chart, and it's hit the mid 1400s 3 times now. If the pattern continues to stay within this range, then we could see a breakout to new highs very soon here. Since we mentioned Dogecoin yesterday, we should take a look at how it's doing today, and you can see that after tightening up a little bit, we sold off and have been moving sideways pretty steadily in the mid 3.5 cent area. Should be interesting to see what happens with Doge in the coming days. But Doge seems to be highly dependent on social media chatter since it's not really used for any kind of decentralized finance activities, and it's not really used as a currency. I think it's more of a meme coin, if anything. So lastly, we should talk about GameStop, since what happened on Friday was pretty awesome. They held the line, and it closed at $325 per share, even with Robinhood restricting you to just 1 share that you could hold. Yes, yesterday I mentioned that the maximum number that they would allow you to hold was 5 at the opening, and that was then subsequently lowered to 2 midday, and then by the end of the day it was down to just 1 share. There are now 36 tickers that Robinhood will only let you hold 1 share in, including bizarre names like Starbucks. Since GameStop closed at $325 per share, I went over to NASDAQ.com and looked at the options chain for GameStop. And here we have all of the put options expiring January 29th. So we can see that we had puts all the way up to $320 expire worthless. So if we look at the options chain here, we can see that a total of 329,000 put options expired worthless yesterday. And if we take their price on Thursday and Friday and add the 2 up, then we get $2,092,000 lost. The reason I added the price decline from Thursday onto Friday's price was because the price right before expiration is going to be extremely low. But on Thursday, when it still looked like there was a chance that they might not be worthless, then they had much higher value. So if you held on Thursday through the expiration, then you would have lost the full amount. So I added those two together, multiplied them times the number of contracts for each, and came up with $2 million lost just on the put option chain. If we look at the options chain on the call side, we can see a lot of people made a lot of money on Friday. Strike price, $180, $93 increase. That's over a 100% increase from the previous day. You can see all these people made fantastic money. The interesting thing to look at is that even as high as $570 strike price, we had 3,949 options open. So there were some people that were betting on a significant increase. 56 open interest for the $650 call. You can see that it closed at 325. Here's a cool little graphic showing GameStop's hectic week. We can see as early as the 25th was when it cracked 100 for the first time. A little bit of sideways action. Elon's tweet jumps up, and you can see just the furious rise of the price until Thursday morning when Robinhood decided to restrict trading along with many other large brokerages, and the precipitous fall thereafter. But then came right back up. Robinhood lifts restrictions, although not really. And the price came up. And I mean, as far as the trading this week goes, that's somewhat sideways movement. So we could possibly see a large increase again next week. Lastly, we have this tweet from the managing director of S3 Partners. He tells us that GME short interest still sits at 113% of the float, which means if you remember earlier this week, it was sitting at about 127%, I believe. The short interest has actually not decreased by more than 10% so far. I mean, you can see 113% of the float. There's still a significant number of shares short out there in GameStop. And that does it for today's Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. This is the end of an incredibly hectic week and a very fun week. If you've been following what's going on, you'll know that it's just been super fun, super exciting time. Things changing, paradigms shifting, and unfortunately, the pool cleaning. So hopefully we'll be able to get back in the pool tomorrow as some of that chlorine dissipates. But until then, thank you for watching today's episode. As always, leave a comment below if I missed anything or if there's something you want to see me talk about, and hit the post notifications so that way you can know when I post and stay up to date with the news. And again, thanks again for watching today's episode, and I'll see you tomorrow.